Jamie, you did a marvelous job this morning of covering a very difficult subject. And as I said, I sat there and I had goosebumps as I heard what you had to say. But you made one point in 1 Peter 3:15 about treating Jesus as holy.
Yeah.
Would you expand on that for these couples?
I'd love to. You know, when it says to set apart Christ as Lord, or in the ESV, to set apart Jesus as holy, that word holy simply means to set apart, to take something and take it from this maybe marginalized place to a separate, holy, centralized place. And that's what makes 1 Peter 3:15 so powerful, that when we challenge couples to, or even individuals, to rely on Jesus Christ during times of marital breakdown, that idea of setting him apart as holy, as Lord, not just as Savior, but as Lord and leader, as sovereign of one's life, is absolutely critical. And again, it's what our video showed us with Rustin and Jamie's story. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people in dire straits, whether it's with finances or one's emotional life, or as we're seeing now in marriage, that when they would absolutely lay themselves out before God, through surrendering to Christ, seeing God enter in a way in which we look back and say, only God. And so if we're going to see God's movement in our lives, it's going to come as a result of our submission to Him. Because you see, out of that submission comes then all the disciplines and the things that we think of that will eventually save a marriage. Out of that surrender comes prayer. You'll find, as Jamie did in our video, that you'll be praying like crazy every day for God to move, and God moves in answer to prayer. You're going to find, out of absolute surrender, a forgiving spirit. We didn't even talk about that today, but the fact that another key, if we added a fourth to rebuilding a marriage, is this whole idea of forgiveness, because forgiveness is usually a central factor in restoring a marriage, because there's been so much hurt and wrong. And the point is, how can you forgive without realizing God's forgiveness of you and His power working in you? So there's so many things that come from our faith and from submitting to Christ. And I can't say strong enough to rely on Christ when it comes to seeing God move in your marriage. So I'm glad that Don asked us that question. And again, if you didn't hear anything else today, please hear that there is hope for your marriage. There's hope for all of us in our lives. And as we follow Him in His Word, we'll see His movement.